What is up, everybody? Today we're going to be going over some motorcycle mistakes that are going to lead into a motorcycle close call with an intersection. Remember, guys, intersections, orange stage, very hazardous zones. We need to pay extra careful attention if it's a red, green light, or if there's anyone in our path of travel. And then the second one is going to be a low side type incident where the motorcyclist is going to put his left knee down because that's where he was falling, and he's going to have a left knee injury on top of that. So we're going to talk about why you need to have personal protective gear with this type of injury. That was an extremely close call, but I know a lot of you are going to ask, where's my orange shirt? My orange shirt is being replaced by the new DDFM crew membership station uniform. So if you guys are wondering what the heck I'm talking about, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do a live stream at 2 p.m. Arizona time because we don't do daylights. And what that is, it's a free classroom. It's for everybody that's involved. And on top of that, I want to make sure I look good with my station uniform and changing things up. So with that said, make sure you click that subscribe button, that notification bell button. That way you can join in on the free classroom where you can ask a bunch of questions Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Arizona time. But let's go ahead and jump into this one. And right away, what I see is a ton of potential hazards. We have a bunch of roadway users. So we have all these cars everywhere. And then we also have intersections everywhere. We're actually passing through one right here with this little scene right here, this frame. And then we have one coming up ahead, which is going to be the incident area. So whenever you're in a situation like this, make sure that you stay in orange stage. If you don't know what I'm talking about, on the bottom right of your screen, it's going to be my awareness code chart. And I move from yellow, orange, and hopefully never red, but I definitely want to be able to use my fundamental riding skills to evade or get away from a lot of these different things. So right away, we need to be in orange stage right here. We're in a hazardous area. Intersections and curves are the most dangerous places for motorcyclists. So with that knowledge, we should understand that this is a hazardous zone. So stay in orange stage, be prepared, have your hands covering the front brake, covering the clutch just in case you have to brake really hard. And when I say brake hard, remember progressive brake pressure. So moving forward a little bit, what he said in his video is that he was a little concerned about the cop right here. Now, he said that he was concerned about that because he doesn't know if he was speeding or not, so he was really focused now on speed, slowing down, seeing if the cop is going to get him or not. And that's where we start running into some problems because we're not focusing on what's ahead of us. And I talk about this all the time with lane splitting or road rage where people get pissed, they turn back, and they're not paying attention to what's in front of them, and then they run into something. So this is kind of the same situation, but more so not a road rage incident, just kind of the mindset lapse. So we're going to move forward just a little bit. We have the intersection already coming up, and I'm believing it's turning red, but now we're going to focus on the police officer right here and what's going on. I'm going to check my speed right now since I'm not looking up ahead. We're still going kind of fast because we're supposed to be stopping at the intersection. So this is where paying attention to the wrong thing can really hurt you. So with the whole situational awareness, the SMART rider system, the first one is seek and recognize hazardous situations. The police officer is not a hazardous situation, so why are we seeking out that? Now that all plays in the mentality of who's riding and what's riding. It doesn't even matter. But at the end of the day, what I'm going to be focused on is the immediate threats to my life, which is going to be that intersection. If a cop pulls me over, but we're going to do it as safely as possible. I don't want to run into the intersection and possibly get hit. So focus on what's important to you right now, safety-wise, not financial or whatever, safety-wise. When I say financial, I don't want to get a ticket, so I'm just always going to ride the speed limit. So we're going to move forward a little bit. Red light. So now at this point, you need to go into red stage. You went from orange stage to red stage. Red stage is when you activate your evasive skills, your emergency skills, and you actually use them correctly. So progressive brake pressure, wait for that front end to dive a little bit. When the weight transfers, more weight on that front tire, that means you can apply more and more brake pressure because now there's weight and friction on that front tire. I talk about that in my motorcycle braking basics videos. So if you want to learn a little bit more, there's going to be links in the description for these videos and then my videos that talk about braking. But right here, definitely go into red stage and apply some of that braking pressure because there's no escape route to the left, maybe to the right, but it's all up in the air right now. We need to stop before the intersection. Moving forward a little bit, And luckily, we stop. Okay, this is right where we stop in the intersection. Thankfully, this person did not gun it and hit us in the side. Thankfully, this truck was able to stop, because if he kept moving forward a little bit, he would be over this manhole cover and a lot closer to us, and we possibly could have hit. But I want you guys to see something real quick. When I talk about that front end dive with the motorcycle, you get weight on that front tire so it has friction and you can stop. One thing that cars have and trucks have, and actually most cars and most trucks have, is a lot of weight already on that front. It's the engine. And what's happening is when they apply the brakes, they're not having to do a lot of progressive brake pressure. They could just slam that pedal because a lot of weight's already on those front tires. Now the rear tires might slide, or the front tire might slide a little bit. For the most part, you're going to have a lot of weight already on those tires. So take a quick look at this red truck, okay? Let's go and look right there. You see how it dove down? This red truck did his own version of seeking out a hazardous situation. He saw the motorcycle rider come into the intersection at a higher rate of speed than what a typical person would do, slowing down to the intersection. So he applied the brakes very abruptly, and you'll see that front end dive. That's really cool to see outside of what we're doing. So this whole incident was focusing on the wrong thing. We need to focus on intersections and not necessarily cops or flashy things on the side of the road. It could have been anything. It didn't have to be a cop. So let's focus on what's our path of travel, what's in front of us. Intersections and curves are very hazardous for us as motorcycle riders, so that is where we need to definitely be in orange stage. What he did really well was actually applied the brakes without falling down. We see that quite a bit where people just slam those brakes and then dump the bike because there's no traction. So what he did is he actually slowed down when he needed to, and that was really good. Now he locked up that rear tire, so maybe we can practice more and more and more on our brake pressure. But if our situational awareness fails, we need to have backup physical skills. If our physical skills fail, then we need to have personal protective equipment to protect our body in the case of a motorcycle crash. So this guy did a good job, but remember, always have a backup. Let's jump into the next one where we talk about personal protective gear a little bit more.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Fuck. Shit.
It's pretty gnarly, isn't it? Now, this is a very low speed, low side incident. Now, imagine going way faster, and imagine going into the side of a mountain or a guardrail. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. Wear your personal protective equipment. So let's go ahead and watch it real quick, and he's going to dump the bike, and he's going to hit his left knee. So this is what you call a low side incident. Now, there's going to be a high side versus low side. The low side is, this is what it looks like. A high side is that when you're going to do this too, but then you gain traction, but then you get flipped over the top. I think we've all seen that. I've done a few videos on that, so check them out. But right here, it's going to be a low side, so he's going to fall down basically. Now his left knee is going to reach out and then hit the ground first, which is going to take a lot of the impact and then some of the abrasion. So on low side, it's going to be mostly abrasion with some impacts. High side, very high impact, and then possibly very high abrasions also. That's why you need to wear full protective gear. So this right here is exactly what I'm talking about. Is knees and elbows are typically the things that are going to get super damaged. On top of your hands, hopefully you're wearing gloves, and that's going to absorb as much impact as it possibly can. Hopefully it's not going to transmit a lot to you, and it's going to mitigate a lot of these types of injuries. So let's move forward just a little bit more. This is when he dumps it. It's not very high speed, and then you're going to check and see his leg really quick. Completely shredded the pants. So very bad, maybe level 2 road rash. It could be a lot of level 1, but you actually see some nasty stuff a little bit later. So it's gonna be very painful, and at this point it's like, just let's go ahead and lift the bike up, and there it is. So that right there, I see some level 1 road rash, which is just gonna be the top layer of your skin peeled off. Not very good. The level 2 is when you're gonna have stuff embedded into your skin, so a lot of rock, a lot of debris. And level 3 is when you're missing chunks. Okay, so this is why we need to wear gear, and this is exactly where the knee armor is placed, and I'm hoping you have good stuff so it can mitigate something like this. If you want to watch the original video, it's going to be linked in the description. So this is exactly why I developed the Smart Rider system, okay? Remember, we seek out these hazardous situations, we use good physical skills, but then we also need to acquire and then utilize our personal protective equipment, for not just for us, but also for our bikes too. But mainly for us in this situation. Wear full gear every single time you go out for a ride. Get quality gear before you go out riding, and hopefully you can mitigate some of this stuff. Imagine the loss of work that you're going to have, so the loss of pay. Maybe you don't have pay, or maybe you don't have insurance, but you still need to get it checked out. So a little piece of gear could definitely help out in this situation and save you a lot of money later on down the road, and pain. Okay, guys? But make sure you join up on that free class session that we have going on Tuesdays and Thursdays, live streamed out to you guys, so you can ask the questions you want. But also join the Discord. It's absolutely 100% free. Link will be in the description also. And this way you can hang out and chat with us in between these live streams. But with that said, I hope you ride safe, be safe, and I'll be seeing you around.